Okay, everybody, welcome. I'm going to do a quick run through of Midi, Logic Pro, and Eyesy. And a little bonus here, I'm going to basically show how I control the Eyesy using my Arturia KeyLab 61 Essential, because I can. But let's get started with some, some Logic Pro stuff. So everybody knows what Eyesy is. You can see it in the bottom right corner here. What I'm going to do is I've already set up an external instrument. I'm going to create myself a little MIDI region here, and I'm going to drag it over to the intro section here, the length of the intro section here, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to add a program change. And then I like to just kind of give it a little bit of an offset here just to kind of make it happy. I found that if it's right on the one, sometimes the timing actually gets a little wonky, so we'll leave it there. Now you set the pattern, the mode, by setting the program change number. And so we literally start with 0 and can walk our way through a whole bunch of different options here. And I'm going to start with, let's do this one because it's kind of fun to see all the different parameters. Now, one of the fun things is that Eyesy has 5 different buttons or knobs that can control various parameters, and those are controllable through CC, MIDI CC. So let's take a look at MIDI CC here, and they start on MIDI 21, CC 21, and that's button 1. And so let's just be kind of goofy here, and we'll use our pencil tool, and we'll start on the bottom, and we'll go up to 2, and then down on bar 3, and then up to bar 4, and down on bar 5, up on bar 6, and then since it's only 7, out on that little guy there. And you can see that as we scrub across it, the parameters of that program are changing. So now let's go ahead and do the same thing for MIDI control 22. And once again, grab the pencil tool, start at the top, go down to 2, up to 3, down to 4. Now this is arbitrary and capricious. I totally get it. You would actually probably want to program this to the content, to the music, and all that kind of stuff. But I just want to demonstrate sort of what the kind of changes can look like. 23, same thing. And they're different. The parameters are a little different for each effect. So you kind of need to make a little note for what parameter is being controlled by what knob, because some of them are more obvious than others. But hey, for the demonstration here, we're just gonna throw some shite out here, and then it's gonna be pretty full. And then we'll do number 25, which is the last one. Number 25 is the last one. All right, here we go. And I'm demonstrating my absolute mastery of the pencil tool here. All right, so now let's turn the loop on for this guy, and let's just watch what happens when we run this thing. So as you can see, that just kind of gives us some random changes across all of the parameters, and that's kind of interesting. However, let's go back over, and now we've got, I'm going to turn the loop off here. I'm going to replicate this MIDI region, and then I'm going to come over here and select it, and you can see that I've got the program change. I'm going to change it to number 1. And then I'm going to replicate it again. Notice, oops, undo. I'm going to click over here, make sure that we're selecting the right thing. Replicate this guy, and now it's selected. And let's do number 3. All right. click over here and replicate it again. And all of our CC stuff is coming over with each of the MIDI regions, so that change is all going to be kind of functified across all of that stuff. We already did that one, so let's do, all right, this is fine. Let's do this one. This is kind of fun. And so forth. I mean, you literally can just run across this. And the fun thing is now, when we run this, as we hit each of those 7-bar barriers, if you will, boom, now change into the new effect. So very simple, right? It's just a program change. We're changing the parameters with the CCs, and it's just a happening thing. All right, so now let's take a look at something else here really quick, because you know this is going to be a short video. Here's my Arturia KeyLab 61, and if you look in the bottom right corner, I have the Eyesy display going on, and if I push my little buttons, I'm changing my effects automatically through this whole thing here. And then what I've done is, and I'll show you this in a second with the last button here. If I push this one, now what happens, as you can see, it's not refreshing. It's just doing its thing. Now it's not much fun here, so let's just, hey, there we go. Now we go. See how it's not refreshing? Okay, so that's cool. Now let's flip over and take a look at how we did that. Oh, donk, dink. All right. And so what I've got here is I've got an Eyesy template that I've stored to user number 2. And if we click on the pad, you'll see that it's set up as a patch change to patch 0. The second pad is patch 1. The third pad, guess what? Patch 2, patch 3, patch 4, patch 5, patch 6, which is actually the 7th, because it's 0 based, just to be confusing. And then this last one is a MIDI note, and it's the last MIDI note. It's the 127. And so that basically allows me to come out here and change the pattern to whatever I want live. Now the other thing I've done, which is kind of fun, and here's that refresh on and off, is that if we go back over here to this little guy, I've got these sliders set up as well. And so this one is set up to CC21, CC22, CC23, CC24, and CC25. I've also done the knobs, though I find the sliders much more entertaining to work with. And so if we go over and take a look here, and if I grab the slider, this is slider 1, you can see it's affecting the width. Slider 2 is the sort of the y-axis, or is that the x-axis? It's one of the axes. It's the x and y axes. This is the whatchamacallits, the number of parameters. All right. And then the foreground color, if you will, or the drawing color. And then the background color. And so I can manually control all of that such from my keyboard. And that makes it really nice. And so I literally have everything set up so that I can control it right here from my keyboard, as well as under MIDI control from Logic Pro. So I'm pretty happy with the way this whole thing is working. And you know what? Let's go ahead and roll the. You know what? Let's just watch. We're gonna replay that song. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. That's been a real quick overview of how to control the Eyesy, either with Logic Pro in MIDI or with the Arturia KeyLab 61. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.